Hey guys, so just finished the health check, which is something you have to do at Japanese universities like once every year. It might actually be once a semester, I can't remember right now. But I took a small walk like after finishing on campus, and there's this gorgeous like Shidare Zakuraki, just like really near on central campus. So within like Kyodai's campus, there's a lot of really beautiful sakura trees. Like even during the fall, you can just do like, so in spring you can do hanami, or in like fall you can do, and koyo, like koyomi. Just like within campus, it's so gorgeous. So this tree was the most beautiful, and I just happened to find like a bench right in front of it. Yeah, this area is packed, by the way. Like, there's tons of people just sitting around doing hanami because this is like Japanese culture. So even though it's in the middle of campus, this is like a normal thing to do. So I'm so happy I can get the gorgeous sakura tree in the background for today's video. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the process because I've wanted to make this video like every year since I started school here at Kyodai. This is now my last year, my 6th year. And I've never made the video because like I realize I hate editing, and like also it's difficult to like film when you're in there. You're not supposed to film, but I be filming, and so it's like difficult to get footage of what's actually happening, and then to like, you know, how should I record what actually happened afterward and stuff. Oh, the men sitting next to the tree have left. I would go take their place, but whatever, my spot's good. So yeah, long story short, I've tried to like record this video every single year in like different ways, like voice memos and like photos and just like short videos, and it's never working out. So today I did my best to try to compile all the footage I can. Ooh, the sun is hitting, yes, looking excellent. So yeah, just gonna tell you about how it went, so you can get an idea of how this health check thing works at Japanese universities, because this is a system we do not have in America. Like, it's very new to me, and each time I do it, I'm like, once again, the wonder is renewed, because I'm like, we're really doing this. This is very strange. Anyway, so the way it works, they sent us an email like a couple weeks ago for the dates with the health check. So what you're supposed to do is they send you a link to a form where you're supposed to fill out like this health check questionnaire thing, and you're supposed to do it up to midnight of the day before, where you come in and actually do your health checkup. So in terms of like when you come and do the health checkup, it's separated based on grad school and sex and like your birthday. They kind of categorize it, or like do 3 levels of separation. So grad schools go on like different days. And so the grad school of medicine, they don't like tell you in the email, but like I know because I have a friend, Christina, in a different grad school, and her health check was on, let's see, today's Thursday, April 11th, and her health check was on like Tuesday, I think. And so she's in the humanities department, a certain grad school, so they all went on Tuesday. And then in my case, so for the grad school of medicine, our health check is today. But the time that you go is based on whether you're a girl or a guy and like your birthday. So we've established grad school of medicine goes today, Thursday, April 11th, for the health checks, everyone in the department. But girls have 2 slots to go. So this comes in the email. For girls, it was like 9:10 a.m. to like 10 something a.m. It's about an hour to 1 to 2 hour window where you're able to go and do this. And then the second window for girls was like 1:40 p.m. to 2:40 p.m. so an hour window. And which one you're supposed to go to is separated based on your birthday. So in the email they tell you if your birth date, like the day of your birth, is an odd number, then you're supposed to go in the morning slot, so like the 9 to 10 a.m. morning slot. And then if your birthday is an even number, then you're supposed to go in the afternoon slot, so the 1:40 2:40 slot. So because my birthday is March 3rd, 3 is an odd number, so I'm supposed to go during the morning slot, 9:10 to like 10 whatever a.m. But I am not a morning person, so I go in the evening slot. Today I went during the evening slot. Right now it's like maybe 3 p.m., whatever. You're not supposed to do this. It's not technically like a choice, but I realized like a year or two ago that like no one's actually checking your birth date. So I always go in the evening slot because I literally cannot. But that's the system for Japan. So that's how we determine which day we take the health check. And it always happens at the beginning of the semester. So like I mentioned, today is April 11th. The new Japanese school system always starts on April 1st, like no matter what day of the week it is. This year, April 1st actually happened to be a Monday. It was like very perfect. So the new school semester started last Monday, but there are times when April 1st is like a weekend or whatever, but still technically I think it starts on that day. So the health check happens the second week of the new semester for spring at least. And yeah, it's always a gorgeous day. Like literally, even in the past, whenever I come and film these videos that I've never posted, but I have now like 5 years worth of footage, it's always a beautiful day. Like the sky is so blue. The cherry blossoms are blooming around campus. Like it's always sunny. I don't think I've come on a day it was raining. It's very weird. The second week of April, I guess, is like consistently good weather, maybe, at least here in Kyoto. So always very lucky whenever I come out on this day. It's like a nice, beautiful day. It's like, I still can't believe this. I'm looking at the tree, just like, there's so much joy in my heart. So yes, that is how the day is determined. And so, like I mentioned before, they email you like a questionnaire that you're supposed to fill out. And you're supposed to do it up to the day before you come in for your actual checkup. But if you don't do it, it's okay, because they have iPads or like computer systems that you can use there to fill out the questionnaire like on site, but it takes more time. So like if you were to fill it out before like you're supposed to, then you'll get through the health check much faster. But just know that that doesn't mean you can't take it if you forgot to fill out the form, but it is like mandatory to fill out. So if you don't do it when you're supposed to, it's okay. They give you a second chance to fill it out there. Another thing that's an important part of a Japanese health check is like a urinalysis test. So this is really interesting because like in the States, whenever you have to do a urinalysis, like we all know the little cup where you go into, right? With the really tight screw top. So here in Japan, instead of using like the little cups, it's really cool. I actually like this system. Although maybe it can be a little messy, I'm not sure. I'll show it in like photos, but they give you a bag with a little like plastic squeeze bottle, and there's a time and a place depending on your graduate school where you can go and pick up these little urinalysis kits. It's not a urinalysis kit, urinalysis bottle, whatever. And so for the Graduate School of Medicine, our like pickup point is one of the main administration buildings, like on the campus of medicine. But depending on where you are, it's going to change, right? But all the bottles are the same. Like even if you went on a different campus, a different grad school, and you found it, like they're exactly the same. Nothing changes. You could use a different department's bottle. It's just, you know, the information for where you pick yours up is like set based on your grad school. So last week I went and I got the little urinalysis bottle from the Department of Medicine building. And then what you're supposed to do, like a normal urinalysis test, is like first thing in the morning, like go into the bottle and like, you know, package it and seal it to give to the doctor. It's not a doctor, the like technician at the place, right? So in Japan, instead of like using a little cup, they have this little squeeze bottle, and then they give you a paper that's folded up, which is going to be like a paper cup. And so the way it works is you're supposed to go into the little paper cup, and then you take the squeeze bottle, it has a little cap, you take the cap off, and you squeeze it like a dropper, and then you suck up the urine into the bottle, and then you can cap it really nice and neat. And it's so clean and neat, and I like love the system. It just feels less gross to me for some reason than like an entire like cup of urine. So that's the way Japan does it. I've never seen a like urine cup here. They have cute little squeeze bottles that I really appreciate. So you go into that, and then you fill out your information on the front of the envelope, and then you fold it down, and you bring that with you on the day of your health check. So the actual health check situation, how's it work? So we all line up in front of like like Kyoto University's central campus has one big main building called like the clock tower, and so this happens in the clock tower. And if you ever get lost, like obviously the information's written on the email and on websites beforehand, but if you ever get lost, like literally it's just, you'll see a huge line of like one sex like coming out of a particular point in the clock tower, and like that's where you're supposed to be. So during the girls' time, it's always like an enormous line of like females like lined up coming out of this one door, and like during the guys' time right now, I wanted to take a photo but I didn't because Japanese be uncomfortable. So you'll just like an enormous like swarm of like guys lined up in one area. So that's where you go. And basically the time slot that they give you, the 1 hour I mentioned before in morning and afternoon, that's the amount of time you have to get into the line. Like the health check doesn't actually end at that time. It's just like you have 1 hour to get into the line, or someone's gonna come and like, then they come with a sign and they're like, okay, you can no longer enter the line, and they block people from joining the line. So it's not an hour to like finish the health check, it's an hour to like get into the line. So, but it's important because they will stop you. They will keep you from getting into the line if you're like 2 minutes late. So be on time. You get into the line and then you go through the line until you get to the actual room where they're doing the Kensa, the health check. So when you get there, okay, step number 1 is the reception. You take your ID and you tap it on this little thing. Well, that's new this year. I don't remember. It's not that it's new, it's that they like look different every year. So in the past, the like card reader was laying down, you tap it. Now the card reader is like standing up, you tap it, doesn't matter. Tap your ID, your information goes into their like computer system, and then they ask you to confirm your name, and they hand you over a little baggie with a new little like card that is gonna store your data for all of the different like parts of the health check. So after that step, you don't need your ID anymore. Then you're gonna use the little card they gave you in the bag. And then if you didn't do your questionnaire the night before, up to the night before like you're supposed to, your next step is to go to a table with the iPads and then do the questionnaire because you need it. And basically this questionnaire is just asking like your history, your health history. So they ask you like, have you had any major diseases? They ask you about all the kinds of diseases. They're like any cardiovascular diseases, any like gastrointestinal diseases, any like, have you ever had kidney diseases? Like they ask all the questions, your whole health history, they want to know. So I thought it was only like serious diseases, but it's funny because they also ask like, what's your history of dental caries? And I'm like, I don't understand, like, is that important enough to really record like during this? Does that count? Like every human in the history of like the world has had cavities, right? I don't know, are Japanese people not getting cavities? I'm really not sure. But so they ask like if your history of dental caries, which makes me laugh. And then another question they ask, so for all of them I put no, except so obviously cavities I was like, okay, in the past, because they ask like in treatment, like under supervision, and then like in the past, like you've had this. So I put in the past for like cavities. And then they asked one for like skin diseases, and it says including atopic dermatitis. So I'm like, okay, I guess that includes eczema. So I told them I was like in treatment for eczema because I just have chronic eternal eczema. But that didn't cause any sort of like red flags to go off. There's only a few categories. They have little asterisks next to the important categories. And if you mark yes, like you have some history with this disease for one that's an asterisk category, then I think something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna come asking more questions and it's gonna be more important. But being like, yes, I have a history of dental caries, like it was fine, whatever, like it doesn't mean anything because that was like a minor category without an asterisk. If you're like, yeah, I have a history of like heart attacks or like severe chest pain, then it may be a problem. So that was it. That's all they ask you. And then when you're done with that, when you do that, you have to put your little card that they gave you, the new health check card. Everything is done by placing your health check card on this like little card reader. And so all the information that happens at the time at that station, it like gets stored on your card reader, which is really cool. There's no writing, there's no like memorizing. It's all like done digitally through this card, which is really cool. So after that, your step number 3 is to then go to the urinalysis station. So you go and you hand them your little digital health card and your urinalysis bottle. They confirm your name. And that's it. Obviously they take your card, they put it on the thing, and then it stores whatever data was involved with that, and then you go to the next station. And so then the next station is they measure your height, and I guess also your weight, but I didn't pay attention. I think the height and weight station. And this is like my favorite part of the Japanese health check. It's so cute and it's so different from what we have in America. They use these like automated measuring machines, which is basically like, in America you stand on like a wall with like it's got a ruler or measurings on it, right? In Japan they have this like little machine, and it's got like a little like bar at the top, right? And when you stand on the plate, they push the button, the little like thing from the top like comes down, and then once it makes contact with the top of your head, it like bops it and then goes back up. And so the area where it bops it is like, obviously that's the height it records, and it's really cute. I have a picture. I was able to get a video of what in the past, before they like banned taking videos. They probably banned it because like, you know, international students like me were like filming everything and making Japanese people uncomfortable. So you can't film it now, but back in the day, like I did get a video. So I'll have to find that, but that is so fun and so cute, and we don't have anything like that in the States, so it's fun to me. Also, when you do this, you have to take off your shoes. Always, this is Japan. You put all your stuff in a little basket neatly, and then hand over your card. They measure your height, and then they give you everything back, and it's done. It's really fast. After the height, I don't know if you've noticed, but I always forget about this height test, and I typically wear my hair in a giant bun on the top of my head like most days. And so it's a problem because the height measuring machine like can't distinguish between like hair or whatever. It just like measures when it comes into contact with something. So my height this year increased 10 centimeters. I was like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I forgot like to do my hair like small today. And she's like, oh, shikata and they checked like 3 times. They're like, oh, it's gonna be like registered as 181 centimeters. Are you okay with that? And I'm like, I'm not gonna take it down. So I was grateful they didn't like try to make me take it down or anything. I think in the past maybe I did have to take it down, but this time I was just like, I'm so sorry, my hair is tall. And she was like, well, I guess it's fine. So I didn't have to. Oh my gosh, you guys, the sakura are chiteiku. So cute. I wish you could see them. It's a real anime. On a real life anime, life is literally incredible. Anyways, okay, so after the height and weight station, then the next step is to go to the, what was next, blood pressure machine. I also like Japan's blood pressure machines because they're also automated and comfortable and nice and clean, and I love it all. I didn't get a video of it today, but I have so many videos of when I was doing physical therapy like 2 years ago, every day using this blood pressure machine. So you stick your arm in, they push a button, it measures everything automatically, and obviously your card is on the little card reader, so when it's done, it stores in the card, and you just go to the next station. It's so easy and so chill. After that was the last station where they ask you if you want to talk to a doctor, like in private, if you have any medical questions that you want to consult a doctor about. And then if you say yes, there are these little booths next door with like dividers where you can have some privacy and you can talk to like a doctor about any concerns that you have. This is really helpful for especially international students because a lot of us don't speak Japanese, or we don't speak Japanese well enough to just walk into a hospital and like make an appointment and like be heard, like have our concerns like heard. So it's really nice to have this opportunity where you can speak to a real doctor, like particularly like in English if you choose, about any medical concerns you have, because like the medical like situation here is so hard when you're not Japanese. Like just being here as an international student, it's really difficult to navigate. So I said no today, but you know, having that opportunity is so helpful because even if you do have an issue that they can't solve, they can hook you up with like, they can send you to the right place where you can get you know, an appointment with a doctor who speaks English like in the city, and you don't have to find it on your own. Like it's trusted and someone recommended by Kyoto University. So it's really an awesome opportunity. So yeah, and then when you finish that, you're done. then you walk out, and at the end they have one last card reader, and you can put your card on there, and then it will show you all the results from the tests that you did today, which is really fun. I remember in the past when they first showed this, because this was not always available, usually you just go and like that was it, and you'd have no idea like what your numbers were if you weren't paying attention like at the station itself. But I remember they implemented this, like I think it was maybe during COVID, after 1 or 2 years, and I was so excited you could finally see your numbers at the end. I guess they must have been asked a ton, like, where can I see my data, where can I see my data, because otherwise you have to wait till like maybe mid-June, like 2-ish months, or yeah, like 2 months before you can see the data. And that's only if you go to the machine and print it out. Like, it never comes to you in an email or some easy format. So it's really nice at the end, if you just put your card on the last reader, on an iPad, all your data pops up. So your blood pressure, the height they took, your weight, what else, I guess. I don't know, the urinalysis test isn't done like on the spot, so I don't know. Either way, I took a photo of my data. I may show that if there's no sensitive information on there. So yeah, and then at the stand, they also say like photography permitted, because they know we be taking photos. We want to take photos. So that's nice. You can take photos there. And then after that, you go to a chest x-ray and an eye exam. So the eye exam is new this year. They've always had the chest x-ray, but this is the first time I've ever had to do an eye exam. And I asked the lady at the last station, because she was like, okay, go to the eye exam after the chest x-ray. And I was like, did this happen last year? And she was like, no, it's new from this year. And she's like, yep, buddy, like since COVID has finally, like the COVID situation has calmed down, like we started, I don't know, doing this again, or started something new. It's clearly not again, because in 2019 I did not do this exam before COVID, so whatever, that's new. And so then you leave the building and you go outside, and there's a bunch of like tents and like RV-ish looking situation, like campers set up, and that's where the chest x-ray is done. So the first thing you do, they're guiding you the whole way. There's like signs on the buildings pointing where you need to go, and then there's people as well, like to help keep you from getting lost. So it's really easy. And also they have implemented in recent years like a better system, because it's no longer as crowded as it used to be. Like I got through the first part of the health check in maybe like 10 minutes. Which is saying something. Like literally 2019, 2020, I remember it felt like it took an hour. I was in lines, like in literal lines for like an hour, which was hell. And it's crowded as well. But now I don't know what they've done, but now you don't have to wait in line so long. You're not crowded. There's not so much crowding. You can get through really fast. So it's comfortable now that they've changed it. But in the past, this was a really long, painful process. And I'm glad it's not like that anymore. Anyways, next was the chest x-ray. So you go to the little blue tents, and then there's someone there to tell you what to do. Basically, there's tables, and they want you to leave your stuff there. So your bag, your jacket, your big stuff. And then there's information on the walls being like, okay, you have to take this off, you can keep this on, da-da-da, this is how the chest x-ray works. And so at the table, they'll like help you. Oh my gosh, do you see the sakura? It's so beautiful. Okay, wow. I don't know how much you can see, but it's literally incredible. So yeah, they tell you to take off your big belongings and then your jewelry. So only like necklaces. Your earrings are okay, glasses are okay, like stuff in your face is okay, but anything around here like has to be taken off. So I take off my necklace. It's best to put that in your pocket. Anything important, don't just leave it on the table outside. So after that, then you go into the little RV camper van, and it's got a double like door, because inside the girls, you have to change, right? You have to take off your bra. If you don't have a good shirt, interesting, in Japan, they'll like lend you a t-shirt, which is really nice. And they're really like comfortable t-shirts as well. I didn't use it this year. She said my shirt was fine. I just had to take off my bra. So they go there, you have little buckets, and you can go leave your stuff in there, your bra, anything else, your phone if you want to. And then when the technician is ready for you, she'll call you over. It's a standard chest x-ray, so there's a big thing there. You like lean your shoulders up against it, you put your chin on the top, they position you, and then they say breathe in, hold your breath. She takes the image and then tells you you're done. That's literally it. And then you go put your clothes back on and you leave and get your stuff, and it's done. Literally took like 4 minutes. Did not have to wait long at all. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention. Today is like technician at the chest x-ray place. Not the technician taking the chest x-ray, because that's female, but the guy who like led me to the area, the tables out front to leave my stuff and give me instructions. He was so funny, which is hilarious because most of the time like you encounter like Japanese adults, especially on like Kyodai's campus, right? Everyone's really like, I don't know, they have an air about them of being really like professional and like stuffy. This is so hilarious. He was speaking such heavy Kansai Ben, and he was talking so fast. I was like, oh my gosh, this man sees me. He sees me as like a normal like person in Japan, and not just like a ryugakusei, like an international student who like needs hand holding and, you know, broken English to understand anything. He was speaking to me in his full Kansai Japanese and like giving me instructions, which was hilarious. He was like, you need to take off your necklace, like this and that. He was like, I was like, oh, do I have to take off my earrings? And he was like, no, the earrings aren't by the chest. And he was like, the earrings, like, he was like, the ears aren't hanging down here. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And he's like, I was like, yeah, that doesn't happen to people. And he was like, well, you never know. Everyone's different. And I was like, man, sir, who have you seen with ears like this? It's so hilarious. And he was making jokes that I couldn't understand because his Kansai Ben was too heavy, but we laughed together anyways. Like, these are the kind of interactions that I cherish because they make me feel seen. I really appreciate this man. I don't know his name. I've never seen him before. I'm sure I'll never see him again, but he made me laugh today. So thank you, kind Japanese man in charge of the chest x-ray booth. You made my day. Arigato. And then, like I mentioned, the new thing this year, because usually after this, that's the last step, and then you go into the building that's next to Camfora. It's the same building, and you just give your card back. But this time, oh, actually, I feel like last year, the place where you gave your card back was also where you could see your data. Like, for the first time, you'd put the card reader there and see your stuff. But now they've moved it to the end of the, like, first step. So, whatever. It's the same thing, just in a different order. So, before, we'd go into this building now and give the card back. That was it. But now we have the eye test. So, this was the first time I've ever had to take an eye test in Japan, and I was really confused. They have, like, instructions pasted on the wall. Thank God, because I read it 10 times and didn't understand until maybe the 11th time, like, how it was working. So in America, we have the like big letters, right? And they'll show you different sizes of different letters and see like how far you can read them, like the big E, and like, can you see O versus C, and like D versus like P and stuff. But here in Japan, they have a little C, and the way they test your vision is they'll move the C to face different directions and like change the size, and then you like indicate when you can no longer tell which direction the C is facing. It was really interesting. But since that was my first time like reading it, I was really not understanding like what I was supposed to do, because it's not just telling the technician. Like in America, you say the letter out loud. They're like, what is this? Can you read this? Read this line. And you go D-A-E-F-G, right? In Japan, it's a machine they put you on, and they need you to push a lever that like correlates to which direction the C is facing. And so I was like reading these instructions. I was really confused. The sign was far away. The line was moving. I was like low-key stressed. But after 5 minutes, I was like, oh, I understand. Like, push the lever down if the C is facing down. Push the lever up if the C is facing up. I got that. Then I got in the machine and was confused because the lady was speaking to me in like broken English. I really hate that, because I understand better when they speak to me in Japanese than when they try to speak to me in English. So she was like giving me instructions that didn't make sense, and it confused me. So I think I like started it wrong. But afterward, I got it. So you put your eyes, it's like a microscope. You put your eyes into the microscope lenses, and then they'll black out one, and they start showing you the C facing different ways of different sizes. And surprisingly, I did really badly. I was like, I mean, I don't know what it means, but just, it didn't take me so long. And I feel like it wasn't long until I could no longer tell which way the C was facing. Another thing, the right eye was better than the left. The right eye felt like I was able to get 3 sizes down before I could no longer tell which way the sea was facing. The left, like the second size she went down, I couldn't tell. Like it looked like an O. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Obviously you do it without your glasses because they're trying to test the ability of your own eyes. And so when it was done, I saw my numbers pop up really quick on the screen, and it was like 0.3, 0.2. I don't know which is which. I know I have an astigmatism. I don't know what that correlates to in numbers, but the 2 numbers were different. Obviously, one is for the left eye, one's for the right. So obviously the left eye, I think, was worse. So maybe that was like the 0.3 and the right was the 0.2. I asked them if we were going to get any information that explains what our eye exam results mean, and they were like, oh no, it won't come. Old Scotty song. I was like, oh, that sucks. So yeah, I've always been the type who wants to know what stuff means. So then that was the eye exam, and right after that we just gave back our card, and then at the end there was this man with boxes full of food, and I was really confused. I was like, oh, that must not be for me, maybe they're taking donations. And then he was like, dozo, and he handed me one of the foods. I was really confused. Look. I think it's like instant rice, which is so cool. There were 2 different kinds. I always forget how to say this. Gomoku Gohan, that's not how it's pronounced. Anyways, yeah, they gave us food afterward, which is so interesting. It's not even the kind to eat now. It's like you need to take it home and cook it, which I don't really understand. But it was so kind, and the man looked so sweet. He looked very nervous. He was like, do you want some? I was like, of course. So yeah, that was it, and the health exam was over. So on my way to walk over here, I saw the boys lined up because there's another international student in my lab who is male, and so obviously he would come today because the grad school of medicine is going today. And so I walked by the entrance and saw all the guys lined up, and I saw my friend among the like sea of men. And so he said the guys started at 3, so he's in line right now. And that's why I wanted to take the photo, because I wanted to take a photo of him. But there were literally like 100 guys around him, and I was like, you know, I'm not gonna make this sea of Japanese men uncomfortable, so I refrained. But yeah, so that's what it's like taking the health check at a Japanese university, in particular Kyoto University. The results will come out, like I mentioned, in June. I didn't get to read the signs too well, but I took photos. I'll put the photos in and stuff. And all that means is that if you were to go to like a certificate issuing machine on campus, you can print out your results and see them. If you don't go and do that, you will literally never see these results. Like, they disappear. It's like nothing. So yeah, it's not anything heavy. It's not anything really important that you need to like know about. But if you want the results, you have to go print them out. And that's it. This health check is mandatory for all students. I do not believe that they will let you register for classes if you do not take this health test. So for people who may think that sounds like a waste of time, unfortunately, you gotta. So that is how the system works in Japan, and I hope that was interesting to some people. Anyways, that's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in another video. Mata ne! Bye!